When I was first elected 8.5 years ago as council, Chris Cagle, my dear friend Chris, dear former councilman, and this city was in disarray financially. And you know, we did our first budget hearing. My first meeting was a budget hearing, and Don Zerlich was on the council, and Don's here, and Chris. And the only thing I promised people when I ran for election was getting 3 or 4 crossing guards back in front of Tulita and Alta Vista and things. And we had to argue for an hour over $50,000 for crossing guards, but we got it. And then we spent another 2 hours arguing about how to finance the lagoon, because there was no money for this, and there was always a threat of closing down the lagoon. And but obviously we kept it open. But in 2005, we have a new council, and we had a new mayor, and the management was there. And instead of just staying afloat, we wanted to make sure that we progressed the city forward. So that's really under Mike Ginn's stewardship. So let's talk about the harbor first. It's right across the street. And you know, we always seen the center on the harbor. So we'll start there. Senator Cal. I think Senator Cal's here. John Paul's back here. There you are. Okay. Well, Fred Rooney couldn't make it. And those of you in the room that have had the opportunity to meet the people from Senator Cal, they're truly outstanding people, and they have, you know, they're working very diligently with them. By the way, if I stammer a little bit, I have a flipper in my mouth. That'll work, so I'm stuttering a little bit. Sounding like John Parsons, bless his heart. But you know, this is all a result of Measure G. The citizens voted for Measure G a number of years ago, so now we have the zoning in place for the harbor. And we're not trying to overbuild what the citizens actually requested. They said there's a set zoning, and that's what's going to happen. So Senator Cal comes in. We had the process of hiring people, and they came, and they're a great partner so far. And I want to point out that you know, Senator Cal is expert at their craft and what they do. You saw the video when you came in of the fountain. And when I went to Utah to visit one of their sites, they had a fountain there, and it's beautiful, all the lights, and like a mini Bellagio. And I wanted to test Fred and his crew to see if they really had it in them to perform. So I asked them, can this thing play anything? And they said, yes, it can. So I asked them to play. I gave them 3 random songs: the Frank Sinatra song, My Kind of Town. I gave them Celebrate by Kool and the Gang, and I gave them Jump by Van Halen. So that's pretty eclectic. They went over there like this, boom, 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 and in 5 minutes, that thing was doing the most spectacular light show and water show you've ever seen. And they want to put it right over here. And you know, it's a different scale, I'm assuming, but it's incredible. Their projects they do are very unique to the area. They don't cookie-cutter things in that works in Utah. It's not the same development. It's going to look as they would put here. It would make it unique to our community. And in Senator Cal's defense, there was a lot of political rhetoric going on. In my opinion, and the majority of people's opinion, it's not at all. Okay? This is a regional recreation area. Thank you. I had one person tell me, I want to. My vision is to keep this harbor as a quaint seaside village. Well, that ain't going to happen. Okay, we want to bring this harbor back to what it was pre-fire days, pre-storm days, like Pat Oss remembers it, Pat Dreising remembers it. This is a halfway place. When Pam and I were 19, we'd come down, sneak into Holland, which is now Starboard Attitude. They didn't check IDs back then. But we'd come down from Westchester, West LA, and Marina Del Rey to hang out at this pier, because that was where you would go on date night. This was a great place to go. And the pier is still spectacular. But we want to make this so it's an attraction for everybody in this room and anybody else in Southern California or tourists from around the world. It's a regional recreational center that everybody is welcome to come to. And that's what my goal is as mayor for this pier, is to make this thing fun again. So anyway, we have a funding problem about the issue they said about the pier. There's $25 million that we have to put in, the Senator Cal project that we have to put into the lagoon and parking structure and all that. Well, this is actually a $25 million solution to a $50 million problem. Over the past 30 years, our councils and management, as it is, didn't save the money. You're supposed to have replacement funds, like vehicle replacement funds, pier parking lot replacement funds, and everything like that. Well, it wasn't done. That's bottom line, historically, it hasn't been done. But what is going to happen with we're going to be in a public-private partnership, so the money, the city will put up the money for the parking structure. We've got $25 million. Senator Cal's putting up all the rest. And then the money comes back in from the revenues gained from the pier and the parking structure. And, go back to Highland funds and regular general funds. So anyway, there's no real, you start talking about this $25 million thing, it's not really, it would have been $50 million. Because trust me, our engineers discovered 3 or 4 years ago that this parking structure is in dire need of repair or restoration or torn down, one of the two. Michael Zittel, he's the guy that owns that, has a lease on that vacant lot across the street. He used to be the Red Onion. Well, that will be a Shade Hotel, right? Yeah. There you go. I understand. I get a lot of calls. What happened to the Shade Hotel? It's a big hole. It would start to stop, it never gets going. They tore down all the old harbor, all the old city to make room for the new King Harbor. And they buried stuff in the rebar, old cars, concrete, junk. I think Jimmy Hoffa's body's probably 6 feet down. But Michael starts drilling for these pilings. It is on landfill, and he's breaking drill bits and everything. This thing is not working. So no one in the city bothered to write down that there might be things buried underneath there. So that's been the delay. And at great expense to Mr. Zislis, he's sorted the problem out, and now this thing should be breaking down ground. I stopped giving dates anymore, but soon. And that's going to be a cool place. Now, who in this room knows what the Sunrise Hotel is? No, I don't know, but they're right next door. Okay, and it's kind of a forgotten hotel in the area. Well, what's the exact amount here? They're doing a $10 million renovation on the Sunrise Hotel, which is incredible when you think about their enthusiasm to put money into our harbor and our area down here. So I applaud them for that. Our Seaside Lagoon, right across the street, is the host of the Chamber of Commerce Super Bowl, Sunday, 5K, 10K, baby walk, everything like that. It's a great event. When I first came on board 8 years ago, the time everybody was arguing about the lagoon, whether it's going to stay there or not going to stay there, the cost of it all. Well, since 2005, the city spends 20% less, down to $500,000 on what we spend on the lagoon. And it's still a park, so they're going to cost money. So, it might be open to the harbor someday, or it might not. That's still, on the drawing board. But the lagoon is now, it's not hemorrhaging as much money as it once was. It's really not going to ever go anywhere. In the Crown Plaza, where we're sitting right now, we've already got the commercial on it, but look at this place. They've done a hell of a job with the renovation outside and everything. So we're very fortunate to have the Crown Plaza, and thank you for hosting this event again. What would a meeting be without talking about AES? But, it's not so adversarial right now. We have had our differences over the years, but we're working it out with AES. And right now, here's what's happening. I want to make sure I get this correct. So I'm going to read a lot of it. Most residents agree that the city would be better off without the power plant. Our methods of getting rid of the power plant have differed. I know Councilmember Brand and myself have different ideas on the tactics to get there, what we've had over the years. But we do agree that we're better off without the power plant. So that's the ultimate goal. And I repeat, I really repeat that the city is officially opposed to repowering and rebuilding of the power plant. We voted for that. We have a building moratorium on it right now. And we're spending a lot of your hard-earned tax money to pay for lawyers to sit at the table as interveners for the California Energy Commission and the Public Utilities Commission. And the latest from the Public Utilities Commission is that even with San Onofre down, that doesn't mean we need a whole lot more power. So they're making it so it's more difficult to buy power from traditional sources, i.e. natural gas. So if AES doesn't have a buyer of the power, they have no need to do it. So what will happen is, if the PUC and the these acronyms, they decide we don't need the power and they can't sell the power, there will not be a power plant. And, basically, and and Eric knows this is not coming out of left field, but, speaking as mayor, we want them to get their fair value for this place, and it's very valuable property, obviously, and it is their private property. But speaking as mayor, I think now's the time for AES to come forward with their plans and what they, alternative plans, whether or not they get their permit or not, about ideas about what we can do, and get together as a community and have the citizens vote on it for Measure DD, which would have to be a zone change. But AES and the city will sit down at the table and come up with alternative ideas for a power plant, as long as it's fair to all the citizens and AES. We'll make sure that we are not adversarial with them. We've said all along we want to work with them, and so far I think we're going in the right direction. But that's right, still in North Redondo. We got the 405, you're driving down there, you see the hotels on Marine Avenue right there. What was that place a couple of years ago? It was a dump. And you know exactly what words I'd rather use. But it was the old miniature golf course. It was a wreck. It was embarrassing to drive down the street. Now you drive down, you can have these hotels. They're branded Hiltons and Marriotts. And anybody who has kids, who has been an AYSO, Little League softball, popcorn, or whatever, and they travel around the state or the country taking their kids to events, you don't stay at the Portofino or the Crown Plaza. You stay in these places next to the freeway. All right, and they're always crowded. It's incredible. Even though it's right next to the freeway, they will always be busy. And right now, there's a third hotel. Well, this is getting started right now. They should be built. They're already started. They should be ready for opening doors very quickly. And there's a third hotel in the entitlement planning process right now. It should be on board there, online next year. And as the mayor and on the council, we would love to be running a city with the highest paid employees in the state of California. It'd make us feel pretty good. We would love to be, I'd love to be the mayor of the city with the happiest employees, and obviously it's not the case. But, we're working on it. And the fine line is, well, we work with the employees, and we love the employees, and they do work their butts off for you. We basically, as the mayor and council, we work for the citizens and taxpayers of Redondo Beach first. We don't work for the employees. We are the stewards of the money for the citizens. So, that's what sometimes gets lost in the shuffle, and we have to make sure we have the money to repair your streets and your potholes and things like that. So, be nice to these people, okay? We have to live and work with them, and they do a hell of a job. They're just not very happy right now, but we're going to make it happen. And I'm going to put words in Bill Brand's mouth, Pat Ott's mouth, Jeff's mouth, and the other guys that are here. As a council and mayor, we're going to work to overcome these issues, the labor issues. I wrote this down. I don't foresee these labor and salary, and especially management issues, be the topic of next year's State of the City. We're going to resolve this stuff. I will speak for the entire council, though. We will really work diligently to correct any outstanding issues, whether personnel, personal, financial, or management, or whatever. We're going to correct anything that's out there. We're really fortunate to live in Redondo Beach. It's I have been looking at all these things. I haven't seen them all, by the way. I got to think about it here. So, yeah, like I've actually looked at that stuff. That's true. There we go. We're going to do a little quick video and a little song called Take It Easy.
I enjoyed growing up here and going to Redondo High School. And well, the thing is, one of the proudest moments I had when I was playing with the Globetrotters, we traveled around the world. I was on a team against them. And every night I'd be introduced from Redondo Beach, California. And it was a special honor to represent the city around the world.
We were on a road trip from Las Vegas via San Francisco, and our last station was Los Angeles, nice city. And we were looking for a nice place to stay, and therefore we found Redondo Beach is convenient, a nice place, and we found a nice hotel here in the area. We like it really much.
We just thought we'd stop at our favorite place, Redondo Beach Pier. It's actually Tanya's first visit to Redondo Beach Pier, so she's enjoying it. We love it. We're beach girls, so.
me lots, say that for friends of mine. Take it easy, take it easy. Don't let the sound of your own city drive you crazy. Like wonder, oh you still can. Don't even try to understand. Just find a place to make your stand. Take it easy. Well, I was standing on the corner in Redondo, California, such a fine sight to see. It's a girl, my lord, in a penthouse Ford, slowing down to take a look at me. Come on, baby, don't say baby. I gotta know if your sweet love is gonna save me. We don't lose, we try to win. Keep talking over and over again. So open up, I'm climbing in. Take it easy. Riding down the road, got a hell of a load, got a world of trouble on my mind. Looking for a harbor that we can move water, it's just a little hard to find. Take it easy, take it easy. Don't let the sound of your own city drive you crazy. Come on, baby. Say maybe. I gotta know if your sweet love is gonna save me. Gotta take it easy. Gotta take it easy.
Thank God I didn't sing. Thank you, Steve. That's great. I was only going 35 minutes, but my daughter, you give me a little sign? Okay, about an hour ago. I hate to go for that. We have a great picture. I don't know if it showed up here. Thank you, Pat Off. That was his vehicle. And he drove us around and did all the fun stuff. And you're a rock star, Pat. Thank you. My good friend, John Parsons, we've already talked about him forever, but John knows since first grade. We miss him. And, you know, without having, his birthday is supposed to come up right now. So, is Parsons here? Mrs. Parsons? Anyway, so John's gone. He's a pain in the ass. He's always my biggest critic and everything like that, but he's a great guy. And he was at a council meeting, and we were going to go down to HG Grill. After the meeting, he always comes to the meeting. I'm halfway to HG Grill. Chris Cagle's there. He called me. You better turn around. Something's going on with John, and he was having his, having a stroke in the lobby of City Council. So luckily, one of his last memories was giving us hell. But I'm going to miss him, and he's a great guy. And then, then we lost Bob Maestro. Man, what a rock star he is. So I said he's one of the true American heroes. I'm going to get into the Maestros in a minute. But another horrible thing, I was newly elected. I get a call from Bill Workman on Father's Day. I'm at the river. He goes, tell me what just happened with Bob Maestro passed on his boat. So actually, he has the dubious honor of the first opportunity for me as the mayor to lower the flags in the city was for Bob Maestro. So I'll always remember that. And there's a picture right here. He donated that picture to the mayor's office. And he had a frame over here. I said, I want that picture for the office. That is, when you walk into my office, that's what you see. And top it off, that's a great picture. We're going to kill two birds with one stone, no pun intended. I want you to see what we did they called him, we have a new coin every year, we need a committee meeting. I said, no, we don't need a committee meeting. Here's what our 2014 coin for Redondo Beach